All right, if you're going to do the digital mosaic project, you need to use the digital mosaic worksheet. So it's linked in the learning guide. It does bring you to Google Drawings, but by using the worksheet, you end up with a little bit of extra stuff. So you end up with directions on the left, an example, and you end up with these, which are just boxes, but those are going to help you make what's called the value scale. And if you look on the left under the directions, it does tell you what your project needs to have, and one of those things is a value scale. So I'll show you how to do that. You also need a recognizable image, so it just means it has to be a real thing. You could do a digital mosaic that's very abstract, but for this project, I need to be able to recognize what it is, and it says you need a black background. You can change the background color later, but you're going to start with black. To change the background, you hold down Control on your keyboard and click. It gives you a few options, and under background, you're going to choose black. Just makes it easier when you're making the mosaic, and like I said, you can change that background later, but for now, black. Then you're going to put an image in. If you have an image already uploaded to your computer, that's fine, but if not, you're going to go to Insert, Image, and search the web, and I'm going to do a mosaic of a banana. So you search. If you choose something that's really complex, like this banana peel with glasses, then it's going to take a lot longer. If you pick something really simple, like one of these, then it's going to be a lot quicker. It's up to you, but just know that this is where you're kind of making that choice. Am I doing a quick and simple project, or am I doing a very complicated project that's going to take me a long time? For this demonstration, I'm going to stay simple. I'm going to pick a simple one, and then down below, click Insert. You'll need to probably resize your image or move it around, make sure it's pretty centered in the middle, and then it fills up most of the space. And then you're going to go to the Polyline Tool, which is over here. So this arrow is how you select things. So if I have chosen that, I can select my image of the banana. Next to that is the line tool, but that drop down arrow lets you choose, and we're going to choose Polyline. Okay, this is how we make all the little shapes that make up your mosaic. To make one of those shapes, you're going to pick where you want that shape to start and click, and then it kind of gives you this line. You're just going to move it over to where you want the next corner to be and click. It gives you another one of those lines. Click, move over to the next corner and click. And when you are ready to end that shape, you're going back to the beginning, and if you even get close, it kind of sucks it in, and when you click, it closes the shape, and it automatically fills it in with this light blue color with a black background. And you can change that. There's a couple ways to do it. You could make all of your shapes and then fill them later, or you can fill them as you go. So I'm going to make my banana yellow with no outline, and if I've picked this, then the next shape that I make is going to have the same coloring kind of automatically, okay, which it does kind of help if, like this, there's going to be a lot of the same color. You keep making shapes, and depending on how many details you have, if you have a lot of detail, you're going to need to make those shapes really small. And if you don't, like this one doesn't have a ton of detail, I can make them pretty big. If you're making them really small, you can go to this zoom tool and zoom in, and that does help. It just, if you're making teeny tiny little shapes, to have them be a little bit more precise. Okay. Sometimes even with bigger shapes, it's just a little bit easier to see where those edges are gonna go. Like these ones, I wasn't zoomed in, I didn't get super close, and now that I'm zoomed in, I can get closer to the edge. Okay, So one of the requirements of this project is a value scale, and you can see, now that, especially now that I'm zoomed in, that this banana has lighter yellow spaces and darker yellow spaces. And then down here there's even some much darker areas. And so that is what your value scale is about. Let's zoom back out. Over here there are these boxes. I'm going to switch to select, and I've put 2. If you are using more than 2 colors, you're just going to choose one of these and go Command C, Command V, and make as many as you need to. And you can kind of move things around if you need to make more space for those, and you can make them smaller if you needed to. But for each color you use, you're going to create a value scale. I'm mostly using yellow, so I'll just make a yellow one. In this row, I'm going to pick one side to be the lightest, so I'm going to color it with the lightest yellow. My next one is going to be the next lightest, and so on and so forth. And this is just going to be a reference for me as the artist, but also for me as the teacher to look and see that I'm matching up lights, mediums, and darks of each color. I did the same thing with this fish when I made it. I had a value scale that had the super light blue that's in this fin all the way to the darker blue of the body. And so when I'm matching those on the image that I put on, I can see where this changes. I need to switch from light to medium. So back to Polyline, and back to Polyline. I think this is probably going to be, there we go, a little bit too dark for over here. But if I was filling in this bottom side of the banana, I'm not going to use the same yellow. I'm going to come maybe down to this level so that the darker areas of the banana are using the darker parts of my value scale. Okay, and then I would keep going.